So let's talk about generative AI. It feels like it came out of nowhere, right? One minute it's the stuff of sci-fi movies, and the next it's writing our emails, creating incredible art. It's just, well, everywhere. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this revolution. We'll break down what it is, how it really happened, and what it actually means for all of us.
Whenever you hear people talk about AI, there's a lot of noise, right? A lot of anxiety. But I love this quote from Marie Curie. She said, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood." And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Our whole goal is to understand this stuff so we can fear it less.
All right, here's the game plan. We're going to cover 5 key things. First, we'll look at the AI tipping point, this so-called overnight revolution. Then we'll dive into how AI actually thinks. From there, we'll tackle how jobs are changing, how AI can be a creative partner, and finally, what all this means for learning. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, the AI tipping point. Look, to really get a handle on where all this is going, we've got to understand how we got here in the first place. Because this whole thing, it's not the start of the story. It's more like a huge climax that's been building for a long, long time. It's kind of like the invention of the friction match. I mean, for centuries, making fire was this incredibly complicated, dangerous thing. And then, boom, one simple invention changes everything. AI's story is a lot like that. The basic ideas, they've been around since the 50s, but it took this one massive breakthrough in 2017, something called the transformer architecture, to be the spark. That's what finally lit the fuse, leading to the explosion of tools like GPT 3.5 that we're all seeing today.
All right, so what's actually powering all this? What's the engine behind the magic? Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at how AI really actually thinks.
Okay, at the very heart of all this is a concept called machine learning, and the name actually goes all the way back to 1959. It was used to describe a computer program that taught itself to play checkers, and got so good it could beat the person who created it. See, that's the key. It's not about feeding a machine a bunch of rules. It's about giving it tons of data and letting it figure out the patterns on its own.
So how does it learn? Well, there are 2 main flavors here. First, you've got supervised learning. Think of it like this. You show it thousands of examples. This email is spam, this one isn't. And eventually, it learns to spot spam on its own. Then there's unsupervised learning. This is where it gets really wild. You just dump a massive pile of data on it with no labels and tell it to find the patterns. This is basically how Netflix works its magic. It looks at what millions of people watch and finds these hidden connections to recommend your next show.
And all of this leads us right to the big one. You've probably heard of ChatGPT. The name itself, GPT, is actually the perfect little cheat sheet for understanding how it works.
Okay, let's break it down. G is for generative. Pretty simple. It generates stuff. New text, images, code, you name it. Now, this is also why it sometimes hallucinates and just makes things up. P is for pre-trained. This thing was trained on a frankly insane amount of data from the internet. It's read more than any human ever could. And T is for transformer. Remember that big breakthrough from 2017? This is it. It's a special architecture that lets the AI understand context, how words in a sentence relate to each other. It's the secret sauce.
Okay, so we know how it thinks, but how does that actually affect us, in the real world? Well, it's already changing just about every job out there. And the key word here isn't automation, it's augmentation. And what's so wild about this wave of change is who it's affecting. Past industrial revolutions hit manual labor jobs the hardest. But this one, it's all about white-collar work. I mean, look at these numbers. We're seeing a huge percentage of tasks in fields like law and admin support being impacted, while jobs in, say, construction are barely touched. It's a total flip of the script.
So this gets to the heart of what everyone's worried about, right? Is an AI going to take my job? But here's the thing. That's the wrong way to look at it. The real threat isn't you versus an AI. The competition is going to be between people who know how to use these tools and people who don't. The future belongs to those who can work with AI.
Think about your job for a second. It's not one single thing, right? It's a whole bundle of different tasks. And what AI is getting really, really good at is handling the boring, routine stuff. A lawyer doesn't have to spend days sifting through documents anymore. An AI can do that in minutes. That frees up the lawyer to do the human part, building the case, crafting the strategy. And this is a massive productivity boost. I mean, some studies show that software engineers using AI are literally twice as productive.
But it's not just about getting the boring stuff done faster. One of the most surprising things about AI is its role in creativity. Yeah, you heard me right. Let's talk about your new creative partner.
You know how innovation works, right? It's a numbers game. The famous chemist Linus Pauling said, the best way to have a good idea is to have lots of ideas. And this is where AI is an absolute beast. It can generate thousands of ideas without any of the baggage that we humans have. It's not worried about looking stupid, it doesn't have an ego, it doesn't care about the way things have always been done, it just explores.
And this quote from a NASA engineer just nails it. It's like collaborating with an alien. They've been using AI to design parts for spacecraft, and the stuff it comes up with looks weird. It's totally bizarre. Nothing like a human would design. But guess what? The parts are stronger and lighter. It thinks differently than we do, and that's its superpower.
Maybe the best example of this ever is the famous AlphaGo moment. Back in 2016, an AI was playing against the world champion of Go, this incredibly complex board game. And in the middle of the match, the AI makes a move, move 37, and every expert in the room just gasps. They think it's a terrible amateur mistake. It goes against literally centuries of human strategy. But here's the thing, AlphaGo had no idea it was a mistake. It was free from all that human bias. It saw a path to winning that no human had ever seen before, and it won. That one move completely changed the game, forever.
Okay, this brings us to our last section, and honestly, this might be the most important one: learning. If an AI can write a solid essay, do research, and even be creative, what on earth does that mean for school, for education as a whole?
First things first, this isn't some far-off future problem. It's happening right now. Look at this. As of fall 2023, basically half of all college students were already using these tools. The genie is so out of the bottle. There's no putting it back. So education has no choice but to adapt, and fast.
Of course, the first instinct for a lot of schools was to ban it, right? To try and catch students using it. But there's one massive problem. The AI detection tools are terrible. They're just not reliable. We've seen horror stories of students turning in their own original work and having it flagged as 100% AI. So trying to police this, it's basically a lost cause.
So if you can't detect it, what do? Well, the smart move isn't to fight it, it's to redesign the work itself. Forward-thinking teachers are creating what you might call AI-resistant assignments. So instead of write a 500-word essay on Hamlet, which an AI could do in its sleep, the assignment becomes something like, go to the library, analyze this physical manuscript, and create a presentation. See the difference? The focus shifts from just spitting out information to the actual human process of thinking, analyzing, and creating.
And this might be the biggest mindset shift of all. Right now, today, AI can produce perfectly good enough, average, C-grade work. Think about what that means. The baseline for competence has just been completely reset. In a world where an AI can be average for free, being just good enough is no longer good enough. The real value, whether you're in school or at your job, is everything you bring to the table that an AI can't: your unique point of view, your creativity, your critical judgment.
So that's where we land. The age of just scraping by with average work, it's over. A machine can do that now. Our new challenge, and I think our greatest opportunity, is to figure out what comes next, to define and create work that is truly excellent, truly human. So the final question isn't just for someone else, it's for you. Are you ready?